Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm presenting you Lost World Dinosaurs once again. I've made quite a lot of changes with this deck, including a new side deck, so hopefully you guys will enjoy this, and yeah, we'll get right to it. So of course, like last time, we're starting off with 3 copies of Ultimate Conductor Tyranno. Still one of the best boss monsters in my opinion. He can flip all your opponent's monsters face down defense as long as you destroy one monster from the field or in your hand. But he can only activate that during the main phase, so he can't do it during battle phase, so sorry. But he can attack all monsters, and when he attacks a monster in defense mode, he doesn't destroy it, he sends it to the graveyard, and also you get to inflict 1,000 points of damage for every monster that was in defense mode that was sent by this effect. So it's a really great card, definitely run him at 3, and he's actually really powerful against almost anything right now, so it's a good way to also stop some link plays. That way, like if your opponent, like let's say against Gokis, they activate Goki Rematch, which forces him into defense mode, flip him face down. That's all you gotta do. Alright, so moving on, we have 2 copies of Overtex Quatless. Really good guy, only because if you send him to the graveyard by an effect, you get to add a copy of Double Evolution Pill, or any Evolution Pill really, but from your deck to your hand. And also, you can summon him by shuffling back 5 banished dinosaurs from the banish zone back to your main deck too. But he's also good because once during either player's turn, whenever your opponent activates a spell or trap, quick effect, you can destroy 1 dinosaur monster from your hand or in the field and negate the effect. So it's a good way to, trigger off Baby Ceratosaurus if you have it in your hand. That way you get a free additional summon. And also, just know this, you can't trigger his effect with cards that come with a cost, like Twin Twisters or anything like that, because something about that semicolon, I read something about it too, but it doesn't recognize Overtex Qualis as being sent by an effect. It's just being sent for cost, so it doesn't necessarily mean the same thing. So anyway, yeah. But overall, Qualis is still great. I only run him at 2, though. Moving on, we have, of course, 3 copies of Soul Eating Oviraptor. Very powerful. You can search out... Whenever this card is normal or special summoned, you can take 1 dinosaur type monster from your deck to your hand or send it to the graveyard, so this is also a good way to pitch out Overtex Quatless. And once per turn, you can target 1 other level 4 or lower dinosaur monster, destroy it, then special summon 1 dinosaur monster from your graveyard in defense mode. So it's really good. And yeah, it's like whenever you give your opponent one of those tokens, it's a good way to, pop in and just bring back one of your dinosaur monsters. So it's really good. Alright, I decided to reduce this only to 2 now, and no Petite Pteranodon, by the way, just 2 Baby Ceratosaurus. Mainly because, I had to balance out my deck with hand traps as well, including the Kaijus. Because, yeah, we do run a Kaiju engine, but I felt like Baby Ceratosaurus at 2 was perfect, only because, it's searchable, you can send it to the graveyard through Foolish Burial as well, which normally you actually still go for the Quatless, but Baby Ceratosaurus is just an added bonus in general, just to, get extra plays going, and honestly, it still helps a lot. So 2 is fine. I don't run it at 3. So yeah, Baby Ceratosaurus is just better at 2 for me on this deck. Sorry if my voice sounds a little groggy, by the way. I got a little sick over the weekend, so I'm still recovering. But anyway, moving on, we got 1 copy of Giant Rex, of course, because when it's banished once per turn, you get to special summon it back. We got Tyranno Infinity, which gets 1,000 attack points for every banished dinosaur. Jurek Elu. I mean, come on, it's a tuner. You need a tuner, right? And plus, it helps me bring out Trishul a lot faster, too, so... And plus, 1 Miscellaneousaurus, which acts as a hand trap on its own. So, by the way, I run technically 8 hand traps because of Miscellaneousaurus. So, yeah. Amazing cards. They really help out this deck a lot and give it some synergy. Alright, so moving on to the Kaiju engine. We finally got one, Gamma Seal. Yep, I finally got my hands on one. Now that it's dropped in price, a friend of mine was cool enough to trade me for it, so I got my hands on a Gamma Seal. We also have Godarla. And finally, Doggeron, which is searchable. And yeah, it's just a 3k beatstick dinosaur, and the fact that you can search it out with Overtex not Quatless, but with the Oviraptor, it's amazing. And Gamma Seal, the reason I'm running Kaijus is because they really help break the Nightmare board. I noticed that. Because, if they have, Nightmare Phoenix and Cerberus both out, like it's going to be really hard to break the board. But if you can get rid of them, then the Nightmare cards are sitting ducks essentially. So it's really good just to help, like. And plus, if you have cards that board wipe, definitely play them right after you kaiju one of their monsters. So yeah. But yeah, I felt like kaijus are also really good, strong against Sky Strikers since they rely on not having monsters in their main monster zone. So it's a good way to like deal with that. So like deal with their link monsters. I know they have the Darkest Diabolus, which naturally can't be tributed, but if you can beat over it, then you should be fine. Alright, so moving on to the other 7 hand traps, we got 3 Drone Lockbirds. Drone Lockbird is easily one of the best hand traps in this format because like it can literally stop an entire turn like of a deck that does nothing but searching like Sky Strikers. If you draw them, they're done. Gokis do a lot of searching too, so if you Drone Lockbird them, they'll be finished. So yeah, Drone Lockbird's good against almost any deck that really relies on a lot of searches, so yeah. Now, of course, I also have 2 copies of Ash Blossom. If I had 3, I would have run that and Droll it too, but for now I just got to do vice versa. So 2 Ash is still fine, you never know. I still feel like Droll's still the better one in my opinion, because Ash can stop a play, but if the deck still is able to search out, then Droll's going to be the better choice. And of course, lastly, we got 2 copies of Ghost Reaper. Ghost Reaper is really great because, you still want to be able to like slow down a lot of decks and get rid of their best monsters or any monsters that really set off plays. So yeah, Ghost Reaper is definitely a great choice to run, and it's easy to main deck it because like you need more materials for double evolution pill as well anyway. So Ghost Reaper is definitely a must. Alright, so finally moving on to the spells, we got 3 Lost Worlds. Very powerful card. Weakens all monsters except dinosaurs by 500 in attack and defense points. And also, whenever you normal or special summon a dinosaur, you get to give your opponent a direct token. And while your opponent has that token, you can't target any other monsters except that token. So like, and it affects you too, but that's not usually a problem because you can also pop cards in your hand too, which is why Lost World's pretty busted. But yeah, and also whenever a normal monster is about to be destroyed by battle or card effect, you can destroy 1 dinosaur from your hand or your deck instead. So like if you aim for the token, you can literally seek the token using Lost World's effect to pop like a baby Ceresaurus, and you get to trigger off baby Ceresaurus' effect instead. So that's why it's so good. Alright, and of course to search out our Lost World, of course you're going to run 3 terraformings. Pretty standard, You could also bump it down to 2 if you want, like if you want to make room for something else. But yeah, as long as you have like 2 or 3 terraformings, you're pretty much set. Of course, we got 3 Fossil Decks. Amazing card, searches out Oviraptor, Miscellaneousaurus, pretty much anything you need, including the babies. So, Fossil Deck is definitely a must at 3. I highly recommend it. Always run it at 3, and nothing less. So. We got 3 double evolution pills, since we're gonna have more than enough materials to summon like the Tyranno and Quantless. 3 is definitely a great number. You could also bump it down to 2 if you wanted to, but I still prefer to run it at 3. So yeah, 3 evolution pills is definitely the best number. All right, for the single spells, we got of course 1 Foolish Burial, which which also helps with the Quantless situation. Monster Reborn. And 2 different board wipes, Dark Hole, and Interrupted Kaiju Slumber. And also, if you have Baby Ceresaurus also on the field, you could also use the effects of Dark Hole and Interrupted Kaiju Slumber to get an additional summon after they resolve. So yeah, definitely good cards to run. All right, moving on to the extra deck, we have let's see here. Here we go. 1 Firewall Dragon. Really easy to make in this deck still, and it's also a good Ghost Reaper target, so I highly recommend it. We also have Decode Talker, Underclock Taker. Can always make room for those, and of course Proxy Dragon, which helps quite a bit. Moving on, we also have another good Reaper target, which is Trigate Wizard, because I noticed Trigate Wizard's starting to appear a lot. So you also kind of want to get rid of that because this card can negate and banish, so that's why it's a bit of a problem. Um, and the last two Ghost Reaper targets we kind of run in this is Gagari and Spiral Double Helixes. I still see Spirals quite a bit, and they get pretty annoying, especially when they're running the Nightmare engine. So you kind of want to get rid of their Helix that way, because I feel like that Helix is their win condition. And once they lose that, it really slows them down quite a bit, and it's a little harder for them to re-synergize. And of course, for the remaining of the extra deck, we have 2 copies of Legia, which is your Solemn Judgment. And it can also negate spells and traps. Doko, which negates monster effects, and you can do it up to twice per turn, actually. Baguska. New edition, Tornado Dragon. And also new editions, Utopia and Utopia the Lightning. And finally, Trishula. All amazing cards, so I thought this was a great choice. And plus, you never know if your opponent's going to run, like, Utopia the Lightning as well, so you could just banish the Utopia. That way they have no way of making it. Alright, so now we can move on to the side deck, which, by the way, I finally finished. So yeah, give me 1 second and we'll get right to it. Alright, cool. So starting off, we have 2 copies of Twin Twisters. Like, if you're forced going first or well, this deck I forgot to mention is a going second deck. So like, if you're forced going first, it's good to like, you never know like when you'll need this in case your opponent starts setting up a lot of back row against you. It's good just to clear them out. Now this card's also good if forced going first, Called by the Grave, because like if your opponent knows you're gonna run evolution pills and is gonna try to Ash Blossom you. Called by the Grave is good to deal with that. That way you don't lose your evolution pill or your sources. So yeah, Called by the Grave, definitely a must to run. Let me move this towards the center. But yeah, because it can negate anything that was sent to the graveyard, banish it, and its effects will be negated till the end of the next turn. So really great card. And again, Twin Twisters is a good side just because you want to deal with back row heavy decks as well. All right. Now, I thought this card was actually really good with that combo pretty well with Tyranno Infinity, or not Tyranno Infinity, but Ultimate Conductor Tyranno, because these keep your opponent's monsters in defense mode, but it's 3 copies of Ceasefire. If a face-down defense monster or an effect monster is on the field, you can change all face-down defense position monsters on the field to face-up defense, and also flip effects are not activated. Also inflict 500 points of damage to your opponent for each effect monster on the field, so that includes your own effect monsters as well. And it just really helps because like what you do is like use Ultimate Conductor Tyranno's effect, flip everything face down, activate Ceasefire, flip everything face up in defense, inflict damage to your opponent for anything that's an effect monster, and then attack over all monsters, and then he loses an additional 1,000 points of damage. So it really just dishes out some extra pain and punishment. So I thought Ceasefire was actually a really good addition, and the fact that it's at 3, I would definitely recommend it as a good side, just to get a higher advantage to your opponent. Other great side cards that I run are Mind Crush, because when going, especially like it's really good when going first too, because like if you set this first, and then of course your opponent searches out anything, you can Mind Crush their hand and then just like deal with that, and also yeah, just like it's also a good way, like if you want to gamble, like for any hand traps, like if you want to try to hand trap them, but they might have a Called by the Grave, you can Mind Crush them and banish, or not banish it, but force them to destroy the Called by the Graves. Moving on, we also have a small Solemn Engine, 2 strikes, Solemn Warning, and Solemn Judgment. I thought these were pretty good alternatives to Infinite Impermanence for those who can't get their hands on them. So yeah. Solemn Strikes, Warning, Judgment, and Warning are really good alternatives in case if you can't afford a Impermanence, which I can't right now either. But yeah, they're really good alternatives, and the fact that they're counter traps, it's really hard to stop it. Of course, that also includes if your opponent has Red Reboot, so you just gotta be careful with those. And finally, we got 2 copies of Storm and Mirror Force, which I used to run Quaking back then, but thanks to Link's, Quakey's not as good as it used to be, so Storming's a good alternative to run. So Storming is a good card to deal with, to bounce back cards that could be a bit of a problem whenever your opponent declares an attack. And yeah, it's just really good. And the fact that it doesn't target or destroy, it just sends everything back to hand. It just forces your opponent to lose more resources, and yeah, it's a great card. Anyway, that's all I got for you guys today, so hopefully you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you guys again next time.